Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ysn Power Hour, brought to you by our friends at Toyota of Warren DJ Yoakley, with you on this beautiful day. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an incredible day. It's been an incredible journey to this point to see kind of how everything transpires from local sports. And you know what we do at YSN. I don't have to tell you. You understand it. You get it. But some news just broke that we've been working extremely hard on, like extremely hard on, for probably, they're going to say 5 months, right? In real negotiations, but probably the better part of 2 years. Um, Officially, YSN has partnered with Westminster College Athletics to simulcast Titan Athletics on your sports network. Now, what does that mean? A press release just went out right before you came on the show. What does that mean for us? What does that mean for Westminster? What does that mean for you? Well, I can tell you, whichever way you cut it, whichever way you slice it, you win, because you've got so many student athletes, so many students that are heading in the direction of New Wilmington. Which, for those of you who don't know, those are my stomping grounds, my alma mater. I'm a Westminster alum. My wife is a Westminster alum. Our My brother-in-laws are Westminster alums. So many people I know, obviously, Westminster alums. Some of my best friends that are in this industry, Westminster alums, and I'm incredibly proud and almost embarrassingly proud to some to be a Westminster alum. I played baseball there for a time, and again, still talk to the majority of those guys to this day. And I'm getting text messages all over from people that are so excited, so incredibly excited to have Westminster and YSN partner up. They know what we do. They know what Westminster does, and I think this is a win for every Westminster student athlete, every Westminster broadcaster, every one of our athletes, because you're going to be able to be seen by colleges, and specifically Westminster, where a lot of our kids should at least be keeping it on their radar. Everybody talks about Youngstown State, Ohio State. You talk about Penn State. But if you're looking to play college sports, Division III is not what it used to be, folks. Division III is a huge opportunity to not only go to school and play sports, continue what you started, but it's also a great opportunity to get a great education that will last you a lifetime, and not just one that you are pigeonholed into one career, but one that will take you all over the board, one that will last you a lifetime, that you can invest in yourself and feel good about the education you receive. I know this is a standing commercial for Westminster, but I can tell you this: I'm not a school guy, right? I didn't. I had a 2.1 something in high school, and I was able to be high threes GPA at Westminster, and I learned a lot. And it was hands-on experience. It was experience in the field. I had a job in my industry before I even graduated in '07. So I mean, you look at what there is, a championship experience for yourself. I was able to be part of a great team, great baseball team that won our conference championship for the first time ever. Since then, they've done incredible things as well. But all of that aside, the reason it makes sense for us at YSN is because we want a bigger spotlight to shine on student athletes. And we've seen an abundance of student athletes graduate from their high schools here regionally and end up to be Westminster Titans. So we figured, why do you have to change the channel? Westminster's close enough. It's a great opportunity for them to cast their net a little bit further here in Western Pennsylvania and Northeast Ohio. And it's a great opportunity to be seen on both sides of the table. So we are extremely, extremely excited. It's Westminster is who forged me. I put it in the release into being the person I am, the business person that I am, the broadcaster I am. So many experiences that I can tell you about Westminster. Um, that again, I never thought I would actually love college the way I loved Westminster. You see the W right behind. Oh my goodness! If Westminster, if the Titans could help me get rid of this cough, I'd be appreciative. I've had it for about 2 years now, so we're good. But we're gonna have Jason Leonard on the show tomorrow to talk about what it really means from the Westminster side of things. I like it's hard for me to keep my emotions in check because this is one that I'm just passionate about. I'm absolutely passionate about, and I'm just so happy to have everything come full circle for not only what you're going to see from a sports perspective, but the broadcasting perspective to be able to help drive the broadcast communications program, the one that I'm so very proud of. Uh, we've had folks from ESPN, you know, that went to Westminster. Denny Wolf was one that comes to mind. An Emmy award winning producer at ESPN sent me a message right before I got on here. Sebastian Driver Salazar, who, if you watch the Little League World Series, you know that name. A dear friend of mine who, again, one of our YSN guys went to the Little League World Series, ran into Sebastian, told him he worked for YSN, and Sebastian just gushed about being able to have those communications and still being friends to this day. Again, a commercial for Westminster, absolutely, but I will beat that drum until it breaks. I am a proud Westminster alum, and I'm even more proud that as much as I believe in the college, as much as I believe in the athletic department, as much as I believe in the broadcast program, they believe in me to kind of put their baby in my hands, in our hands at YSN, and really, really, really looking forward to some big things, some big time opportunities, and hopefully it gives our regional student athletes a clear pathway to another opportunity to play, to get a great education, and certainly develop as a human being the right way. So thank you. I appreciate your time for being able to spit out this commercial and the excitement that comes with it. I'm very excited about it. I'm very, very excited about it. And you should be too, because so much good is going to come from this. I can't even begin to tell you how excited we are with colleges in general. It's just a great opportunity for them to reach our student athletes, and now with my college in particular, it's just that much better. So be on the lookout. We're going to be having that. I think games actually begin this Saturday with some soccer games. We'll have the simulcast of those soccer games right here on YSN. So exciting. And Sam Dougal, Boardman's very own, right off the top of my head, she plays soccer for the women's team. So you'll be able to watch Sam and her new Titan teammates in action this Saturday. So we're making sure everything's kind of hooked together and ready to go. But Brian Scott's going to take care of that, and Kevin and like I said, we'll have Jason on tomorrow. Gary Swanson has been a huge part of this. And my hero, Dr. David Barner, at some point, the voice of the Titans for such a long time in all the national championships and things like that. So we'll make sure that we get the slew of them on, and obviously we're repping it again, baby. The blue and white flies high in the Oakley house, and it'll fly high on here on YSN. We might add a dash of red to it, though. You know, a little dash of red, a little red, white, and blue, and really show off the colors the American way. Today's show, let's get to that. Today's show, we will, it's going to be a heavy South Range show where it's a content day here on YSN. So what that means is, as we're watching this show kind of come together and this show's happening, we're building on YSN. You've seen a lot of Camel, a lot of Western Reserve. Who else? A lot of Canfield today on the network on ysnlive.com. We're going to continue building. We have 4 stories today on this show, 4 interviews from Tuesday night at Giangelo's with the South Range Raiders, all starting with David Rock. Then you've got Dylan Smesko. You also have Gavin Nagy. And Tristan Toy celebrated his 18th birthday on Tuesday, and we celebrated with him. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to these interviews. David Rock in the South Range Coaches Corner right here on YSN. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the South Range Coaches Corner right here from Giangelo's on 224 in Boardman. My goodness, man, this place is jamming. It is packed. Thanks to Frank and Lynn for allowing us to invade every Tuesday night. What do you got? Got a fly over there?
I got some gnats.
Some gnats?
Yeah, I'm probably too sweaty.
Oh, now they're over here. Thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
David Rock joins us, the head football coach at South Range. Let's give it up for David Rock, ladies and gentlemen. The 1-0 South Range Raiders coach. Is that too loud for you? You good?
No, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Are you really? Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
I take this off. I'm good. Go
We'll
ahead.
Adjust. All right, so from your standpoint, 1-0, it's always nice to start with a victory over a rival. Springfield is one that goes way back. For you, is that one of those moments where you have to have a motivating speech, or I mean, do the guys just kind of know what to do?
No, I don't think the guys require a motivational speech of any kind. I'm probably guilty of, the game means a lot to me, so I probably get maybe a little bit more jacked up before that one than most of them. Just it feels like it takes forever to get here, and it's a game that we all look forward to, and I know it means a lot to both communities, and I think our kids and I definitely take a lot of pride in trying to win a rivalry game against them.
I guess the best question is, did you have a chance to kind of look around? I mean, that place was packed, kind of like Giangelo's is tonight, but
yeah.
Even on Springfield side, I mean, we know they travel. They
yeah.
travel extremely well, but to have that and take that in, and not have your head probably hustling and bustling, because last year this time it was your first head coaching experience, so there was a lot of stuff going on. Did you have a chance to take it in, and what was it like?
I did. I actually looked back right before the opening kickoff, and it was really cool. You could see the stands were packed, and over on the patio area there's people overflowing and kind of on the hill. So I try to do that every week, just to kind of take it in and take a deep breath. But obviously, just really appreciative of all the support that we get from the community, and I think again it just is a testament to how much that game and how much that rivalry means to both communities. Offense
started fast, right? I think 4 out of 5 of the first drives we scored on, missing a field goal to make it perfect 5 for 5. For you, you saw a lot of potential, right?
Yeah.
But there was also a lot of opportunity to improve. There was a lot of penalties, which I know you are not one to stand for. So talk to me about what the conversation was like Friday night, Saturday morning.
Yeah, I think, first game of the season, is always some nerves accompany, the game. And I think our guys are excited. I think you can see they're going to play with emotion. I think you have to kind of take some of the good with the bad, as far as if we're going to be aggressive and we're going to play the style of football that we want to play. Inevitably there's going to be some calls. I thought there was a couple tough calls that went against us. And then, the frustrating part were the penalties that, again, are unforced. And I know our guys are working hard to clean it up. We're working hard to clean it up. It's something that we talked about. It's not sustainable, and it's something that we have to get fixed, immediately if we want to keep, finding ways to have success. But, I don't want that to overshadow a lot of the good things that we did either. I thought our kids played really hard, and they made a lot of really good plays, and I thought they played the game the right way, which is kind of, what's important to me.
Well, playing the game the right way, I mean, that means being able to have that sportsmanship, which we always see at South Range, being able to help kids up and not kind of rub it in their nose in it. For you, better than anybody the South Range way. When did you learn that? How was it adapted? How are you continuing in this age of, okay, it's a bragging game, it's a showmanship. I mean, you see it on video games, you see it in the NFL, the college ranks now. How do you keep things disciplined on your team and make sure that they know that, hey, this is who we are. When you wear that burgundy and gold, this is how you represent your community?
Yeah, I mean, I think, first of all, it's the Raider way, right? It's the way that I've always grown up watching us play, and all these guys whose parents and uncles and, whatever else played here, they've all kind of seen the same thing. So, we're trying to do it, in the classiest manner we can. There's also kind of a fine line, right, where you want to play with emotion, and I don't have any issues at all with us celebrating with our teammates.
Yep.
Right? And especially when it's organic and it's kind of spur of the moment and our guys are excited about playing the right way. That excites me, and I think that we can build some momentum that way. Obviously we don't want to celebrate on our own. We don't want to have some kind of, fake celebration.
Sure.
Right? But we want to handle ourselves in a first-class manner, and I think one of the reasons why South Range has been successful for so long is just the importance of trying to do things in a first-class manner. And if you look at, those things that we do off the field, I really think they make a difference on Friday night, and that's what we're trying to how we're trying to live.
Chapter 2 of this 6-chapter journey at home began Friday night, but now you got Salem to look at. You got to see some tape of his NE8 foe go up against Salem. For you, what do you see that really presents an issue for South Range this week, and what do you think that potentially could be an advantage for you guys?
I think they do a good job in the run game. I think they make it hard, to run the ball on them, which is if you're stopping the run and you're able to run the ball, I think that gives you a chance most weeks. I think they're pretty good on special teams. I think they're physical. They're scrappy. And they're obviously well coached, year in and year out. I think Coach Johnson and his staff do a great job of getting their guys to play hard and getting them prepared week to week. They're dynamic in terms of, how they attack teams. I think it is very fluid in that it changes. What we see in week 2 might be completely different than what Poland saw in week 1. And so we're trying to be prepared for as much as we can. As far as, keys to our success or things that I think we can take advantage of, I think for us it comes down to kind of the same things it always does. We're going to have to protect the football. We're going to have to play great special teams. And then we're going to have to run the ball and stop the run. And I think if you do those things more weeks than not, you're going to have a really good chance, late in the fourth quarter.
Last week we saw Tristan Toy's jersey get obliterated right off of his body. First off, what's the status of the number 12? And secondly, when you see stuff like that and you see a guy that come right back in and basically try to pick his own number, what does that say to you?
Yeah, he's one of those guys that you have to drag off the field. We're trying to sub him as much as we can, late in games to keep him out of harm's way, and he doesn't want to have any part of it. He works really hard, and he's worked really hard, throughout his life to give himself a chance to go play on Friday nights. And I know this program and this team is so special to him. 12 the players in a much better spot right now than 12 the uniform is, but hopefully we can get that thing back by Friday because as much as I liked him in 33, I've seen him make a lot of plays in number 12, and I'd like to see him in that. Seniors
were on full display on Friday night. It seemed like every senior that touched the ball did something special with it, even on defense. You're looking at some interceptions and some really big plays. This senior class has the potential to be very, very special. We've seen this before. We don't want to comp them, to 22, but there's a lot of similarities, I guess. How do you look at this senior class and try to differentiate them from classes before?
I think regardless of the results, moving forward or up to this point, they're already a special group. Because I'm so lucky to be able to see how they've grown, over the past 4 or more years, and I see the way they handle their business and interact with one another and interact with the community, and just some of the things that they do, some of the intangible stuff that I think, is a result of great parenting and great community support and great support from the school. So they're already a special group. I think they understand there's some expectations and a certain standard. I also don't think that they focus on that a whole lot. I think they show up and they handle their business and they work hard and it's interesting. I think, a lot of teams are going to try to identify certain leaders and we're fortunate that we have, 20 plus leaders and our seniors understand that this is their football program, and they're trying to leave a legacy, and at the same time they're trying to, kind of show the ropes to the young guys that are coming up behind them and help them to develop. And but I couldn't be more proud of them, just the way they conduct themselves, the way they compete. They're fun to watch. They prepare really hard, and sometimes I'm more proud of how they prepare than I am, watching them on Friday night, and I love watching them on Fridays.
Well, I know that it takes a village to raise a child, and obviously this community is big in the support. We see it here tonight. We see it every time you guys go out on a Friday night, no matter where you go. This being the Canfield Fair Week, you've got to sit side saddle sometimes to 4-H and some other organizations. How do you kind of juggle that and make sure that everybody gets to where they need to go?
Yeah, I think you have to be kind of fluid with the schedule, and you have to try to be understanding that, for a lot of our guys, this is a way of life. This is a way that they can make money, and that's important, And so we're trying to do, as far as scheduling goes, we're trying to do what's best for the most amount of them, and we're really lucky in that our kids that do have conflicts or scheduling conflicts, generally they're going to do the best they can to be there as much as possible. And and I also understand, just because I'm a local guy, I understand what the Canfield Fair means to our community, and so it's a different week, but our guys, our kids, our coaches do a great job of handling schedule changes and adapting wherever we need to.
One of the most interesting things, and I think we talked about already last week a little bit, but this is an off week from school. You as a teacher, they as students, a lot of your staff, is our teachers as well.
for you guys to be off, are there advantages and disadvantages to that week? I mean, how do you kind of keep things disciplined and regimented?
Yeah, I think, you try to find the advantages in it. For us, it's been nice that we're able to go, we're going to alter our practice schedule tomorrow and Thursday just to try to get out of some of the heat, right? And we wouldn't be able to do that if we were in school right now. And then, we were joking around. There was a couple of us coaches in there this morning at, 9:30 or 10 in the morning. And we were saying, boy, I really like Fair Week. It gives us a chance to kind of get the scouting report done ahead of time and try to work ahead as much as we can before Friday, because it seems like, every season and every week, the closer Friday comes, the more you feel like you have to get done and you're trying to cram. So anything we can do to work ahead is obviously a good thing.
All right, I know you can eat. I know that's not a problem for you. You can eat. You can, you can shovel. For you, when you go to the Canfield Fair, which I'm assuming you do.
Oh, yeah.
I'm giving you unlimited funds. Where are you stopping? What are you eating? What are you starting? Where are you ending?
Yeah, I'm a big steak hoagie guy and a big chocolate milkshake guy. So there was a time where I could go and I might have 5 or 6 milkshakes, in a day when I was a kid, Now I can't afford to do that. But, steak hoagies and chocolate shakes come to, I guess, a 2-trick pony.
I love it. Coach, thank you so much for the time.
Thank
Appreciate you as always.
Appreciate you.
David Rock, ladies and gentlemen,
Thank
right
you.
here, back after this.
And that was David Rock, as you know, and know him very, very well. Dear friend of the program, dear friend of mine, and a guy that just texts me out of the blue and says, hey, you know what? I got a break here. I want to talk. I want to talk to you because you're one of my favorite Patriots. And I feel the same way about him. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him. You love him. He is your favorite American and one of the best Patriots you know. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Valley Christian Eagles, head coach Andy Hake. How are you, Coach?
Hello.
Hi, buddy. How are you?
Hey, nice to hear from you, man. Patriot here, man.
You.
How's everything going? Nice to hear from you. What's going on? Just stopped at, saw some friends at the Republican headquarters here. Thought I'd come over here and say hello to you. How's everything going, brother?
We're good, man. What's new with Coach Hake?
Just getting ready for St. Thomas Aquinas. Man, I love high school football, man. Week 1's in the books. We had a tough one with Malvern the other day, but they're a darn good football team. Boy, they came out with this gunslinger. His name's Withrow, 6'5", 6'5", 190-pound gunslinger, man. And they had these great wideouts. It was a great matchup. But it was a tough game, and we got better for it. And we're going to be better for it the rest of the year. We have a nice team, so I'm excited. Some great teams in the Valley this year. They really are.
There are some awesome teams in the Valley this year. A lot of people look at that first game that you guys had against Malvern, and they're just kind of shaking their heads. Why should people believe in your Eagles this year?
Oh, we have a nice team. We're going to just get better every week, and we do. We have a nice team. I really like our team. We just had a tough week 1 matchup, and I like playing teams non-league schedule that's going to really compete and make you play better, and that's the brand. I've always done that, and if being a coach, you got to challenge yourself and challenge your kids week 1, 2, and 3 before the league play, and it's only going to make you better, especially taking 16 teams in the playoffs. So it was a great matchup. I think it was 14-0. 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, and we had a safety ball went over a punter's head, but that happens. No excuses. They played a great game, and we got to clean some things up. We had over 100 yards of penalties, and you can't. It's very hard to beat a good team when you're doing that. We returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown and have another long run, and just shot ourselves in the foot. But we have a nice team. We're going to get better as the season goes on, and I like our kids' attitude. We have a nice home down there at South High now. They really redid a lot of that school in the basement. They're redoing the school at South High. They redid the basement a lot and made it locker rooms and equipment room and team meeting room and some coaches' offices. Beautiful place. And things are just getting better and better for us.
So this week, you let me know that it'll be a Saturday game. St. Thomas Aquinas decided, hey, we want to play on Saturday at noon. So it'll be a noon kickoff for you guys. What are the advantages to having an extra day to prepare for a team like St. Thomas Aquinas?
I just think it's good it's been hot out. It's been hot out. So you know what? Most teams, I think, have been having to adjust equipment and times and things like that, what they're wearing on the field during practice and how much time they're actually on the field. Some schools have been canceled. So, we we're just lucky that we get an extra day here to prepare and get better, and not just for St. Thomas, but for the rest of the season. How you doing, sir? And then just excited about moving forward. And they've been a struggling artist, St. Thomas, and I know Camel roughed them up week one. Big plays, it was big plays. But we have to focus on us every week getting better. So, you know what? This isn't a one-game season. I told our guys, I said, hey, week one, Clemson's playing Georgia. LSU's playing USC. Good teams play each other. And, we had a two-game series scheduled with Crestview, and the Western Reserve had a two-game series scheduled with Malvern. And they each played one game. And, for whatever reason or the other, we ended up with them, and they ended up with each other. So, we didn't balk at playing them. We said, hey, we'll play them. They're a good team. We're a good team. Let's see how it goes week one. And as the season progresses, we're going to get better and better and better. I got those kind of kids, and they respond to our coaching. And it's just a great group of kids, good place to coach.
What can you learn from a game like you had in week one against Malvern? I mean,
you learn a lot. You learn a lot because, when you play a team that you're much better than, I don't know if you learn a lot sometimes. You learn a little bit every week about yourself, but when you play someone that's good and that can expose you doing some things, it's good because you can really learn your flaws and things that you need to work on and things that you're good at and things that you can really improve on. And our quarterback was 12 for 14 in that game. So, as the game progressed, we said, hey, man, this guy can really gun it, and he hangs in the pocket, and we have wideouts that'll go get the ball. And, it was very fortunate that we found that out. I don't know if we would have found that out if we weren't, the issue wasn't forced on us as the game progressed. So we found out a lot about ourselves passing the ball. And defensively at halftime, they didn't have any yards rushing. So we could stop the run. We just got to get better at every facet of the game. And when you play good people, you find that out, and we got St. Thomas this week, and then we got Brookfield next week. And Brookfield's a tough team, too. They played Hubbard week one. That was a good indication of how good they are. They're going to play Springfield tomorrow, and you'll find out more about Brookfield. But I love good matchups. I love, you don't want, I look like when you're not playing good people early, it's almost like, what are we doing all summer long? Why are we spending so much time during the summer? You got to prepare for good teams and playing good teams early. You find out a lot about yourself, like I said, but we're gunned up for this season. And we know as the season progresses and things unfold, we'll be in the mix, especially when the league starts. That's what you want to try to do, win your non-league games, but put yourself in position that when the league starts, you can compete for a league championship.
What's one thing that you learned about on Friday that kind of surprised you about your team?
We don't tank. We're not tankers. But I knew our guys weren't going to tank. It's just, we only had one scrimmage. And that preview game against Ridge, we had to clean a lot up. We did clean a lot up. Unfortunately, we didn't have a scrimmage before that. So, we played a team that had a lot of games under their belt playing together. And I had some new faces, and I just like seeing our kids play really hard. And, that's what it came down to. So, you know what? I think that as the season progresses, like I said, you pay dividends when you play good teams early. Hey, thank you. God bless you. And no, it's all good. Thank you. But I do feel that, like I said, as the season progresses, we're just going to get better and better. And our kids are coachable. It's been hot. We've had great attendance all week.
Are you at the hot dog shop right now?
No, I got some pizza for the boys.
Atta baby.
That's what the old ball coach does. I got some Bruno brothers for the gang. So,
there you go.
But yeah, we love these guys down here. But
we lost the audio.
Are you there?
Yeah, we can barely hear you. I think you connected to MiFi or something.
No, it's all good. But no, like I said, we do have a good team. We just got it. We have to find our legs, get our sea legs under us. But we will. That's what we do for a living here, and kids love playing sports here at this school. So, and they got a chip on their shoulder from last year, and we're going to do a good showing on Saturday morning, high noon, same time as the game. That's how we kind of looked at it. Let's have it at the same time as the game. So we have a noon game. So, and then after that we got Brookfield and the league starts, and we have a nice competitive small school league that we're in. So, I mean, if you ask me, United and Southern are the teams to beat, but hey, anybody can beat anybody. So, this is, I always tell our kids, playing the Chicago Bears, you're playing kids your own age. And if you play hard and you limit the turnovers and mistakes, you can beat anybody you guys play.
You mentioned discipline was a problem in week one. That seemed to be a problem across the board. I guess from your standpoint,
self-discipline, right? Little self-discipline.
How do you fix that? I mean, is that something you can work on and practice?
Well, control the things you can control. When you're making blocks, you're making great contact. Our problem is we're making great contact at the line, but we're not running our feet. Holding happens every play in high school football. Happens every play. When you're not running your feet, you get called on holding. And I'm not saying you coach holding. We don't coach holding, but we coach running, make contact and run your feet. That's how you open up holes. If you just make good contact, you don't run your feet, guys get away from you, you hold, and it looks like it. So we cleaned that up. We addressed that, did some drills really to running our feet, running the sled, the chutes. We were working on tackling, open field tackling. But we have a decent tackling team. But you can always get better. I mean, that's not something that you rely on your laurels. Every week you got to work on some kind of tackling drills. But it's just fundamentals. I know that sounds cliche, but if you work on fundamentals and focus on yourself, we had a great week of formation recognition and little things. But I just think that most coaches will tell you week one and early in the season, you have to focus on yourself and getting better. And, focusing on the enemy, that's only going to help you so much. You got to focus on yourself and look inward. And we found some things on Friday, and we're going to get better at those things. And special teams is something that we can get better at every week. And it's just when the league starts, we want to be hitting on all cylinders. And I think we will be, but we got to keep on improving.
You mentioned that you mentioned that Dion went 11 for 13 on Friday. Jay-Sean goes for over 100. Dion's a guy that's been under the radar for you guys, especially last year. A young quarterback, but a guy that can get stuff done both on the ground and in the air. So when you look at that dynamic duo in your backfield, is that something that most people are kind of sleeping on right now? Do they feel disrespected a little bit?
Well, we have a chip on our shoulder every week. I got tough kids from a tough town. I tell kids, every practice, you guys are from Youngstown. You represent Youngstown, and that's one of the toughest cities in the country. So you have to be some of the toughest kids in the country. But you can't go in the tank when things, after opening kickoff, that was a real downer. We scored opening kickoff, and there's a penalty, and it's a downer. We return the opening kickoff of the season. It's like, hey, next play. And, we don't have a true home field. So I tell the kids, this is a red badge of courage you have to wear on your shoulder, a badge of courage. We're down 7 points, sometimes 14 when we go somewhere. And it's not for you guys. It's just, hey, this is how it is. So we have to play above ourselves and ignore penalties and don't succumb to those kind of things. But and our kids respond properly. I get along with our guys, and they're great kids. And they want to do well, and they want to do well for the school and their families and themselves and the coaches. So I really like our team. There's some other great teams in this area this year that I really think are fantastic. People always say football's down. I don't know about that. This area has you just had Rock on there, South Range great. I think West Branch is one of the best teams in Division IV in the state. I think West Branch is the best team in this area, period. And I mean that. And I'm nothing against some of these other schools, but I think West Branch is at least a top 3 school in the area. Timmy played for me at Western Reserve, and I've kind of followed them. And they got a lot of guys back. They got some special guys on their team, and they play for the school and the community. And they're a great school. They have a great team this year. If you told me they won their region, I'd say I believe it.
When you look at, you mentioned Timmy played for you. Have you been able to give him any words of wisdom for a team that, you've had loaded teams in the past and a lot of starters returning. Have you given him any words of advice for this year?
I just think Timmy's a great kid, and he's an impressionable. He was always an impressionable guy. You could talk to Tim. He's level-headed. He's not a know-it-all. This is a very humbling business. It's a humbling business. People do their work, and a good worker can go throughout the week and do some great things and have some low moments. But in high school football, you're judged in the 2.5-hour window on Friday night. That people in town, that little window on Friday night, they're going to judge you, and you just got to be aware. That's how the business is, man. You can do all the right things all week. The kids can love you. They can practice their tails off, and then on Friday you get blown out, and everybody says, "What the heck? That coach don't know what he's talking about," or the kids aren't responding to him, and that's not the case at all. So I've had conversations, a lot of them with Tim, but he's a level-headed guy, and he's done a great job over there, and he was on some great high school football teams, and he went to Waynesburg and played for Shepis over at Waynesburg, and you got that perspective too. And he's been coached by guys that I feel are pretty competent guys, and now he coached underneath some guys. Harris was there at West Branch, and I think that they're doing things the right way. They got a lot of kids out. They got the right kids too. You could have a lot of kids out and not have the right. You don't have the right chicken to make chicken soup. He has chicken, so now it's I think it's you're gonna have an opportunity. This is the time, but I hope they win it all. I hope they win every game. I'm a fan of Tim, and West Branch is a traditional place, and a lot of teams in this area too. Struthers has a chance to have a fine year. They got big lines, some good backs. The right ingredients in high school football. You know what I mean? Keep the ball away from the enemy, play hard. South Range was always awesome. Then there's other schools. You always have the usual suspects. Fitch is a good team. Ursuline's a good team. Warren Harding seems to have this more spirit back. The coaching change, and they played Kent McKinley really hard week one. And I think there's a lot of small school teams that can make a run at it in their region. I scrimmaged Ridge, and I thought Ridge had a really nice line and some really powerful backs. A couple good receivers. Rossi, Balestrino, they had some nice players. I really look at Ridge, and Western Reserve has had a nice, impressive win week one. But teams in our league, United won big. I think there's parity though in those small divisions. I do. I was
just going to ask you that. I mean, you look at the EOAC, and from my perspective, for my bag of chips, I think that's the league that's most wide open this year.
Sure.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, East Palestine, really impressive win week one. Southern dropped one to Union, but they're going to run buck sweep, trap, belly. ISO will get better and better at it. That's what he does. And by the time league starts, he's going to be running all cylinders. He has the right guys. I just think the league's open. Spates, Sneaky's as good as coach as there is. So you know what? They might be down in someone else's perspective, but they could bite you if you're not playing well. I just think that the league is wide open. I think the MVAC's wide open. The small schools are open. I think South Range has a leg up on those schools in that NE8, but you can't tell me that if Struthers plays South Range 10 times this year, that game could go either way. Hubbard had a really nice, impressive win over Brookfield. They had a big line. I saw that film yesterday. Started watching a little bit of film on Brookfield, and Hubbard has a big line. So that's not they might have smoked Brookfield, but Brookfield's coached well. They have some special guys, Rico and Davis, and that's not a good indication how good Brookfield is. But Hubbard is good. I'm sure when you play Poland or Girard or those schools in the NE8, boy, Niles, you better be ready to play ball, because they'll knock you off if you're not. They have a lot of tradition in those schools, and they play with a lot of pride. And just being a history guy, I love watching the history of our area with football. I kind of study it, and there's just a lot of good schools. And if you're not ready to play on Friday night, then you can get knocked off. And upsets happen. Who would have thought Howland would have beat Niles 28-0 week one?
Yeah.
But they wanted to win really bad. They're probably sick and tired of listening to, the Tiger's dead. And the Tiger's not dead. The Tiger rose up and played like heck against Niles. And, it's just fun. It's just fun. And community get behind our teams like nowhere else. And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. High school football in Northeast Ohio, especially the Mahoning Valley area.
All right, I've asked every coach and every player this next question to end our interview on. Canfield Fair Week, it's a special one. Talk to me. Are you taking Augie? You taking the missus out to the Canfield Fair? What are we eating? What's your go-tos?
Well, my wife took Augie this morning with my family, and I know he had a good time. Boy, he loves riding those rides at the fair. He's 4 years old, and I'm going to take him on Sunday, and I'm going to do whatever he wants. You know, I mean, my boy's 4. It's a special time, and I just like hanging out with my family. So, you know, it's time away a little bit from the game and work, and Memorial, or it's a Labor Day weekend. And, you know, any holiday to me is special because I try to correlate when I was teaching and with the kids. It's, you know, you correlate that with the country and veterans and why we have it so good here. It doesn't have to be Memorial Day. I'm with or 4th of July. I'm with the veterans, so any kind of holiday, I try to tie it into. You guys are lucky you live here in America, and you're lucky you're not in one of these godforsaken countries where they know nothing about country and pride and service and things like that. Yeah, going to that Canfield Fair, I like them gyros or hoagies, steak hoagies, and lemonade and. You know what I mean? It's great. When I was younger, I could eat that stuff all day.
That's what Rock said too.
Huh?
That's what Rock just said too. He said he drank like 5 milkshakes before he left the fair. That's incredible.
Oh my God, he probably gained 20 pounds. No, you know what? I can eat fair food. I could eat a lot of it when I was younger, man. You know, I'm
corn dog guy? You like corn dogs?
I like it all, brother. I could eat it all. I got to limit what I'm doing, though, because my stomach can only hold so much and my pocketbook can only hold so much. We're living here in Build Back Better, and prices are so high that, you know what, we got to figure it out. But, you know, getting there costs you a couple $100 and then walking around there for a while. Next thing you know, you're going broke at the fair. But, no, I'm kind of joking.
I got you, buddy.
It's a great time. Everybody loves going to the fair, and it's a special place, that fair, because it's one of the largest fairs and most sustaining fairs longevity-wise in the country, and people from all over go to that fair, man. And it's really something else. But I appreciate that place, and got a lot of friends, man. I go there, and you see people, and it's a wonderful gathering place, not for just a community, but for the Mahoning Valley. They go to that fair, man, and if you don't want to talk to people, don't go to the fair because you bump into everybody. It's a wonderful event. It's only once a year, so, you know. Now, who do you think are some of the better teams in the area this year? I don't get a chance to talk to you as much on air when this started.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You know you're welcome anytime on the air.
Oh, I love you. I know. You're an American legend, bro.
I'm really excited about this year. You know, I thought there was going to be, you know, some really good teams and some really mediocre teams, but we're seeing a bunch of shades of gray in the middle, where there's going to be some dogfights. There's going to be some absolute dogfights. I like what the EOAC brings. There's a lot of people that are down on it, but I think there's a lot of levity in every game in the EOAC. And I think that's good for coaches like you. That's good for coaches like Coach Spate, Coach Ogilvy, Coach Dempster. I mean, you look at across the board, Coach Wright. I think our area is better, and obviously our ratings are better when there's better games. We didn't have very many of those. In week 1, Boardman comes to mind that I think surprised a lot of people.
Big win against Kenston, man. That was a big win.
That's amazing, right? You look at that
good
and you go,
for
okay,
them, man. That's a good win for them.
What can Boardman be this year? What is Fitch going to be? I mean, they planted an absolute licking on Euclid in week 1. So what is that going to bring to the Nest this year? And I agree with you. I think West Branch is one of the better teams in our area, in the region, in the state this year. So I'm looking to see what they're able to do. They break all kinds of records.
I told him to go schedule Boardman, Fitch, and Harding week 1, 2, and 3. And he said, "You're crazy." I said, "Tim, you have a team that can beat them." And I know that's kind of like, well, you're biting off more than you can chew. And but you don't do that every year. You don't go play those teams every year. But I bet he could play with those teams this year. He can play with those teams, and if they're not playing good, he can knock them all off. They'd have to be playing well. How many years have we seen Canfield beat Bournemouth in a row? Well, they kind of whacked Canfield. I'm just saying there's parity. I hate comparing scores sometimes, but what else are you going to do? You got to compare a little bit, because that's how you get matchups, and that's, I think Timmy has a special group of kids, and West Branch can beat anybody in this area if things go well for them. You know what I mean? And you can't say that with every team. But
I think Poland opened up some eyes as well. There's a lot of people that were down on Poland this year. They went in and beat Salem comfortably. But I've also heard that Salem looked really good. There's a lot of people in that South Range community that are a little bit worried this week about the Quakers coming to town because of the way that they handle.
Well.
Yeah,
they're coached well. Hey, Ron John does a good job in Salem. Pavlansky does a good job in Poland. Those teams are coached well. They're going to come prepared. And then again, anything can happen. Hey, Poland has been historically one of the tougher teams. Yeah. It's a tight-knit community. They don't have open enrollment. They play very hard. They're socioeconomically in good shape most of the time. That matters. Same thing. It's like Canfield on Canfield. So it's like, hey, they're not going to be stinky no matter what. And Canfield's not going to have a bad year. They just came out and they played a good team.
Did you just drop a stinky on us? A stinky?
Well, they're not going to, they're going to stink. They're going to suck. They're just not going to be like that. How do I say that properly? You know what I mean? But they're just not going to be like that. They're going to play hard, and it means a lot for those kids to play for their teams and their schools there. They're going to play hard, and a lot of times it has a lot to do with, two-parent homes. It has a lot to do with people aren't accepting, poor play and letting that go. It's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? That stuff all plays into things. And to act like it doesn't is to be foolish, and it does play into things. So, Poland's going to have a good, tough year. And same thing with Canfield. That stuff ties in there, man. And I'm not saying it's the beginning and the end of it. I'm just saying that has something to do with it. And those teams are going to have a good seasons. And I see Canfield bouncing back. I see Poland having a good year. I know Salem's coached well. They got hey, you play Poland and South Range week 1 and 2. I give credit to Salem. It's like, hey, you're playing people. You're not going out there and trying to find children of the weak, deaf, and blind. You're playing people that are tough.
You're sharpening your claws. Yep.
No, come on, man. And then you know what? You find out who the heck you are before your league starts.
Yeah.
So I think they also play Canton Central Catholic too. Salem does. So
you know what I'm really excited for this week? And I talked to Dana about it this week. We're featured tonight on 21 at 6 and 11. I really, really am going to be watching Cheney and Struthers. I love this
has a nice
matchup.
Team.
Yes, they do.
Oh, dude, Cheney has some special guys too.
7 turnovers last week.
Who had that?
Cheney forced 7 turnovers.
They do. Okay, they forced it. I was going to say, if they had 7 turnovers, they better not do that against Struthers.
Right.
Because Struthers has a big line, some great backs. They're well coached. They'll shorten the game. They'll run at your face, and they have a good defense.
I'll tell you this.
Struthers is one of the better teams in the area too, man.
If Bam Bam can keep the ball on the ground and they're able to secure the football, Struthers is going to have a nice night. But if they have to put it in the air, if they force the ball in the air and that athleticism comes into play for Cheney, it's anybody's ball game.
Cheney got some good athletes.
Whew.
And they're going to be flying around and they play that brand of football that's fast and intense. And if Struthers can match that intensity because of their line play, and keep the ball away from Cheney, advantage Struthers. But if, like you said, Struthers starts making mistakes, and Cheney's able to they got athletes everywhere. They got them. Who's those 2 tall brothers they got, those wideouts?
Is it
who's
Thompson?
Those guys that were at Fitch last year. They're at Cheney now.
Yeah, I think
6'6", 6'5".
They're big boys. They're big boys.
Big guys on the outside. Like, you can't come up with size. That's not. You can't come up with that. So you know what? You have to play your position. When the ball's thrown into the air as a DB, you got to make a break on the ball. And you know what? if you can't go for the ball because the guy's too darn tall, then try to rip his arms down. You got to use technique because if you go for the ball, that could be problems on those guys.
And Cheney still has one of the most athletic quarterbacks in this entire
Jones
area with Matt Jones.
That guy's good, man.
Yeah,
that guy can keep you in a game, and you can't let your guard down. You can be down 14 points. Next thing you know, you're down. You're losing 7. Or you got him by 14, and now you're down by 7. They have a 21-point swing. If you're not, Cheney's a good team, and that team they beat week 1 was a good team. Was it Akron East?
Yes.
Yeah, I played them when I was at Rain and East. That's a tough team.
That's a physical team.
Oh my God, that's a good team, man. And they've challenged Bookdale for that Akron City series the last decade. So you know what? Cheney could have a good season, but then again, hey, they got to play people too. As you see this thing progress, it's great matchups every week. It's great matchups every week. And
I always look forward to talking to you, buddy.
Oh, you're awesome, man. No one's better for the area than you, man. You put kids on a pedestal and a platform, and you provide them communities and schools.
I don't know about all that. I get to spend a lot of time with myself. I'm not that guy.
It used to be the Tribune and the Vindicator, and I know WFNJ and WKBN do a great job, and there's other outlets. Malutic, they do a great job, but I don't think there's anybody that's putting games on like you, that's doing insight like you, that's putting these teams and individuals and communities on a platform, and they're lucky they have you. The area's lucky they have you. Believe me when I tell you that. And I know you're my friend and all that. But put all that BS aside. If you're not around, I remember the last paper that the Vindicator wrote. They asked me, and I wrote some column in there, and it was the last sports one, and I said, who's going to replace the Vindicator? Because the Vindicator was like a big deal for that they brought our heroes to life. They brought these games to life, and a lot of sports in this area is credited for the news and how it's been presented. And who's going to fill that void? And lucky for the area, you've been able to fill that void, and you do a good job. You do a great job. Well, and you're with the country. Because of that, I'm with you, brother.
That's it. I'm always with you, man. Thanks for stopping by. I'll catch up with you real soon next week. Same time, same place.
Hey, dream big, love your country, and I'm with you, pal.
See you, buddy. Thank you.
God bless you.
There he goes. A surprise from Coach Hake, which we're always down for naturally. It's always a good interview to hear him talk because he's not just locked in on his team, which he is, but he's also very cognizant of what's going on around the area, and such a great football mind, such a great mind in general, great leader, great friend, and we're lucky to have him. This show took a hard left turn, I guess hard right turn probably, for this show on a Thursday, but we're going to make sure that these interviews get up on the website ysnlive.com. All the player interviews, Tristan Toy, Dylan Smetzko, and we had Gavin Nagy as well. We did see Coach Rock, and then of course Coach Hake came in, and when he comes in, you got to clear the way for him because he's always got some good stuff to say, and he wants to highlight players not just from his team but from all over the region. So thanks to Coach Hake for being part of it today and bringing late and that stuff at the end. Grateful, right? Grateful, but listen. Like I said, I get to spend a lot of time with me. I'm not the hero that he necessarily tries to make me out to be. It's a team effort. Guys like Anthony Hartwig, Chris Sigler, my wife, Sarah Yoakley, who's scheduling for us, all the great announcers that we have, Steve Leslie, Brian Scott. I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about Brian and the technical directing that he does to make sure all these games come to life. But all that being said, it is time for the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark presented by Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical, and they are also on the web at dickeyelectric.com. Where is the button? There it is. It's the Dickey Electric What's Your Spark Joe Dickey Electric, What's Your Spark, presented by Joe Dickey Electric. Again, they are everything electrical, and you can visit them on the web at dickeyelectric.com. I've got to, I don't want to sound like a complainer at this point, but if anybody else is like I am, this heat right? We sleep on floor number 2. The heat can go away anytime now. Usually it doesn't bother me. Usually I'm okay with it. I am so tired of, even with the fan on, and I'm a fan guy, right? I'm a fan guy. Even with the fan on, it's 100 degrees, it feels like, in the room when you're trying to sleep. And I can't sleep when I'm hot. I sleep best when I'm freezing. I am so tired of it. I'm over it. It can go anytime. Yeah, it's that, like, that is rough. Rough. When you don't sleep, it is tough. When you're sick or when you're hot or you're not comfortable. I for the last like month and a half, it's been, oh no, we had a break there, but for the last little bit, it's been hot. I'm ready to be done with it. Like, the cool air can come back, bring whatever with it. Not snow, please, not snow. We're not ready for that yet. But I'm just ready for a good night's sleep. And last night couldn't do it because it was 800 degrees. I hope you guys had better luck than I did, because it was tough sledding with that heat. But if you're looking to make sure, what is it going to be like when I go to sleep tonight, make sure you download the Storm Tracker 21 app. You'll know, because I knew going into it. I just knew I wasn't going to be happy. But thanks to all the folks over at Channel 21 WFMJ, everybody on that Storm Tracker team, for making sure I know what and how, or how much I'm not going to sleep on any given night. That's going to do it for our show today. Thanks to, obviously, Coach Hake for coming on. Always love having him on. Thanks for Coach Rock for sitting down with us on Tuesdays. Don't forget, folks, these restaurants, these shows that we're doing, please get out and support them. Support these great restaurants, these great facilities, great food everywhere we go. And a lot of times they have great specials as well. So Coach Hake talked about the inflation factor. He talked about the fair. Spend some money at the fair. Yes, support those vendors, but make sure you support these great restaurants and these great people that are behind them and supporting us on YSN. That's it for the show. We'll see you tomorrow for the YSN Super Show, all brought to you by our friends over at Toyota of Warren. Thanks to Tino and the whole crew. They keep us moving so we can keep you moving. That's it. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on YSN. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of your